Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this second session of our industry sector of the month. So today we will discuss about the topic health, life sciences. And so for this session, we'll hear from four entities. So from NCC Belgium, Turkey, Finland, and Cyprus. As a reminder, the objective of this workshop is to hear from the NCCs how you work on this topic with industry or other target groups, and to share experiences and lessons learned regarding this specific topic with different users, different target groups. For information, the presentations will be recorded. We have an hour and a half for this workshop, so we have time. We'll hear around 10-15 minutes per speaker, and we'll have a dedicated Q&A after each NCC presentation. And we'll see how long it will take in total. So let's start right away on this topic, and let's start with Karl Mensch from NCC Belgium. So I will stop sharing, and Karl, you can share.
Yeah. Let me share and let me know if it's okay.
Yes, full screen.
There we go. Okay. Thank you, Marie-Françoise, and thanks to everyone who joined today. So I wanted to briefly discuss one specific topic we did. So we had a lot of interactions with major life sciences companies, but still we saw that the other HPC centers, actually the services we were providing to this sector were rather limited. So I want to discuss a little bit how we started building a community and why we did this and why we think this is an interesting approach that might also be of interest to some of you. I guess a lot of you do outreach to industry, and you're probably familiar with dozens of these types of responses when you're doing, specifically when you're doing cold outreach to companies, is that you get response like, we don't have much time, or when they do agree to set a meeting, they will postpone it or reschedule it. Another response we often encounter is, of course, yeah, sure, we like your offer and we like the services. We can collaborate with you. And then they say, we will contact you in the future. And that's where it ends. And then I guess definitely with cold outreach, the most common response are the ones here at the bottom, right? Where you actually don't get any response at all. So I said I wanted to talk about the life sciences industry. Why is this relevant to us? So specifically in Belgium, there is a lot of pharmaceutical companies, major pharmaceutical companies with R&D centers located in Belgium. And also because of that, there's obviously a lot of consultants, a lot of SMEs also working in the same domain, let's say. And as I guess a lot of you know, is that within life sciences, in general, there are a lot of HPC applications like study of protein structure, but also computational chemistry, drug discovery, and so on. So there are a lot of HPC applications in this sector. And as I said before, although all of this sounds interesting, specifically in our region, this is still not a major customer segment at our HPC centers. So this is the question we set out with to work with is how could we improve our interaction with the life sciences industry? Now we go a little bit back, so we go back to 2020 when something quite revolutionary happened, and when we saw all these types of headlines on social media, but also definitely in all the public and general media outlets, talking about one of the most significant scientific challenges being tackled in people's lifetimes or once in a generation advances because of artificial intelligence. And I'll shortly take you to it because I'm not sure whether all of you are familiar with that, but what it was about was a company called DeepMind owned by Google. They had been in research looking into protein folding. And then what you see here on the x-axis is actually a competition called CASTIEL, where every 2 years they evaluate all the algorithms that are used to predict protein folding. So you see all the previous years we were about below 40% basically, but then when DeepMind came into play, you see AlphaFold here going up to 60 and AlphaFold 2 really breaking all the records going beyond 80. So they really were a game changer in that field starting in 2020. So for those of you who are not familiar with protein folding, so basically proteins do anything in our bodies and are therefore also really important in pharmaceutical companies and in life sciences. Basically, proteins are strings of amino acids. So these beads can be 20 different types of amino acids. And depending on their properties, they will fold into short segments. So they curl up or they sheet up. And then all these folds get actually together in this kind of three-dimensional structure, like this knotted structure. And this is what is needed for drug development. This is what is needed to really push research in life sciences. So to give you a little bit of an idea of the impact AlphaFold has had, so in 2020, AlphaFold 2 appeared, and then a lot of research and algorithms actually were sparked by that innovation leading up to this year. So now AlphaFold 3 is out already, and also the Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded to these two gentlemen on the right who worked at DeepMind, and also to Professor David Baker, who is actually taking it one step further and is also using these types of algorithms and developing his own to really even invent new proteins and to really design proteins from scratch. To give you an idea of the impact it has on science, but also definitely on life sciences. So for us, this was an opportunity. What we saw at our HPC centers at that time, AlphaFold 2 was the most requested software we ever had at our HPC center. So all our researchers and our customers asking us to install it. So we saw a lot of interest in this software. Yet there were some challenges. So that's why we were contacted. In installing it and also in running it, there was some expertise needed, and also sometimes some specific hardware that some of our customers did not have available. And this combined with, as I said, the life sciences being a major industry in Belgium was the opportunity we saw. So rather than keeping to discuss our HPC services, we said, let's build a community around this topic, including all the life science players. So we started building a community from one-man companies and startups to multinationals, and also including universities and the research institutes. So what we really saw as a benefit from our side was, of course, as an HPC center, we are basically a neutral platform. So we could talk to all the different types of companies and provide them basically a platform where they could exchange information or where they could request specific expertise or access to the software. So that's also what we obviously provided, was running the software on our systems. And then it took off from there. So this is just a selection of the community we started building. So you see major companies you might know, like J&J and Galapagos, also to the universities here in Flanders at the bottom, smaller companies or even consultancies, and then the research institute. So all being present in the community and all very keen on working with us on this topic. So the first activity I highlighted here is what we did prior to starting this community was having one-on-one discussions with all of them and really asking them what they were interested in and what their challenges were. Subsequent activities with some of the members, we did interviews, which was good for, as you all know, for having some success stories and some output, which we published through our social media and our website, of course. This is still available, so I will share the links in my presentation afterwards. Then based on the input from the community, we also did several webinars, so online trainings on the use of AlphaFold, for example. And these have been among our most watched videos and were very successful trainings, basically. Then together with some of the companies, for example, with Pixano, we also did some live training. So this is an example of a live training I did specifically on OpenFold, so one of these runoff software programs. And also for this, we have the recording available. Then together with some of the partners, this is the Flemish Institute for Biotechnology. We also devised some additional training. So they built, with our support, an online training course that's still online, and that is a self-paced study that's available online. But they also have organized several live trainings, really with hand-on sessions on the use of AlphaFold. And then something that was also really successful, since 2020, we've twice organized also a live symposium where we would ask which speakers the community would really like to see. So we invited lecturers from across Europe and then invited them to come to Belgium and then discuss specific topics on the application of artificial intelligence in structural biology and in life sciences. But also was really important in these sessions was, so we did lectures about topics the audience really wanted to see. And secondly, we did, as you can see in this picture, for example, we really did also have a platform for exchange of ideas. So we organized a World Cafe where people could discuss in small groups on very specific topics. Or really discussion groups we held around specific topics led by one of the community members to streamline it. So I'll now go towards some of the key takeaways before handing it over to the next speaker. So what did we gain from this, or what was, how did this improve basically the offer we had to this industry? So what we definitely gained was a lot of insight in what these companies were looking for or why they were or were not using HPC. Because this topic really helped to get in touch with these companies and to have discussions with them face to face. Because of this, of course, we also developed some new customers for our HPC centers, which was eventually, of course, one of the goals. And something that's still ongoing is we became a contact point on this topic. And because, we now have this expert group, this consortium, where we can refer questions from companies to experts or to other companies. And this also led to some of the members of this community to also apply, for example, to European calls or to the latest FF Plus call from past summer. So all in all, we think this was really well, and this was a way we could really support this life sciences industry. Some of the drawbacks or things you have to consider is building a community is really time consuming to set it up, but also because you really need to keep it alive to get value from it. And definitely because, there's all these people are involved in a lot of activities and a lot of events. And as I said, it's about a hot topic, so there will be a lot of competing initiatives.
Like I said, we did the last time we had the idea of setting it up in the European HPC.
Is someone
with the original developer?
Can I continue?
Yes, I think it was just an issue with the mic.
Okay. And then lastly, to really wrap it up, so what worked well, I think I've discussed some of these, so I will share the slides as well afterwards, but what worked well was having all these one-on-one meetings with these companies, which they were very happy to do because of the topic. As I said, it has to be a specific topic rather than talking about HPC or our services. We talked about the topic they cared about and where they had some challenges. We also used them, of course, to set the agenda of the events we organized and of the trainings we did. Something that also helped us in the beginning was one of the major multinationals said they were very keen on collaborating, and we saw that this also convinced some of the other companies to immediately jump on board of the community. So these are some of the basic takeaways. So what would be my suggestion? If you think this is an interesting approach, take a look at what the strategic sectors are in your region. So in our case, we know biotech and life sciences is huge in Belgium and in Flanders, but in your region, it might be another sector that you focus on a hot topic, a hot software topic, or a challenge they have and where they need some expertise. And that could be an interesting approach to build a community around a topic. And then lastly, as I said, I will share the links to the lectures I mentioned and some of the material I shared. And if you have questions about it, I'll also leave my direct email address in the slides, so you can contact me if you want. Thanks, Marie-Françoise.
Thanks a lot, Carl, for this talk. Nice to share with us some key takeaways and ideas. I'm checking in the chat if there is any question or comment, or if there are any raised hands from people who would like to share questions or comments. Great, thank you very much, Carl. Thank you for presenting for NCC Belgium and for sharing also your comments. Let's continue with Merve Dermitas from NCC Turkey to hear about your experience on this sector. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mary. Hello, everyone. I am Merve Demirtaş, the industry champion of the NCC Turkey. Today, I will be sharing our approach for the proof of concept study and presenting a success story in the field of life sciences. Actually, we don't have a specific approach for reaching SMEs in life sciences. We have generally applied the same procedure across all sectors. Now, I would like to discuss how we can more effectively connect with SMEs and industry representatives. We have utilized several networks for this purpose. First, this is the TÜBİTAK-ULAKBİM network, and TÜBİTAK-ULAKBİM provides high-performance computing resources for academia, public sector, and industry. Therefore, they have already relationship with the industry, we can say. Our second approach involves the network of affiliated entities, and they are the leading universities and located in major cities in Turkey. And in their campuses, there are technoparks and numerous SMEs offices located there. And this offering us direct access to the potential collaborations. Another channel is TEIDEP. TEIDEP is an institute working under our mother institute and giving funds to the innovative project of the SMEs. And this funding mechanism enable us to reach SMEs more easily than. In addition to this, during the first phase of the EuroCC project, we prepare forms, and they are questionnaire-like forms, and they are available on our Indica platform. And any SME can fill out these forms by defining their project needs, maybe apply for support. Finally, SME visits are key, and SME visits are organized to the different cities. And we choose these cities where the SMEs are predominantly located. By meeting directly with these companies, we can better understand their needs, and we demonstrate the benefits of HPC and encourage them to use our opportunities that we know of. Yes, let's discuss the proof of concept studies. If a company has HPC suitable problem, we initiate a proof of concept study. According to our definition, we can say that it's a small scale project, only taking 3 and 6 months. According to channel, we can extend the time generally. So how we start the process? If the company has HPC, HPDI, and AI related problem, we organize an online meeting, and we directed predefined questions in order to understand their needs. And if the problem is HPC suitable, and we organize a second meeting, but in this meetings are NCC experts also available. And in this meeting, a company delivers a presentation, and based on delivers a presentation by explaining the problem and the needs. And based on the needs of the company, academic or HPC experts are assigned to the project. After this process, all the experts and the company fill out our proof of concept study application form. And at this point, I want to mention that not all the problem or the needs turned into a proof of concept study. We have an evaluation process. According to this, every project partner gives their points by considering a set of criteria. For example, we expect that proof of concept study meets the goal of the EuroCC project scope. And also, after this project, we expect that the company has reached the next HPC usage level. For example, first of all, the company is an HPC user before this study. After conducting study, we expect them to reach to HPC maybe champion, maybe more advanced user. And the last one, the problem really needs to HPC platform. By considering all these assessment criteria, every affiliated entity give their points. If the points exceed some threshold value, then the proof of concept study started. During the proof of concept study as NCC Turkey, we provide free HPC resources. This can be CPU or GPU. If the company needs academic mentorship, we also provide it as free. And also, again, the company has no expertise in HPC technologies. We also assign to the project to HPC expertise. As NCC Turkey, we always monitor the process by requesting to update the interim report. According to interim report, we always check to asking such question: is HPC used efficiently, and there are some progress. If we get some satisfactory answers, then the project goes through the final stage. If there is no progress, we would rather to close the project. At the final stage, the company and expert complete the final report. According to report, if the company workers gain HPC related skills or the company gains some business benefits, this may be in terms of time, maybe money, then the proof of concept study turns into a success story, and we share this success story through our social media channels. Now I want to share with you a proof of concept study that we have applied to the previously mentioned process. This study carried out with PepDesign. PepDesign is a company and provides biotechnology services. The company is expert in structured construction of peptides for biomedical, chemical, and cosmetic applications. And for construction of such molecules or complexes, company utilizes in silico methods. As a note, only 2 companies in Turkey are currently focused on this type of work. Before beginning the proof of concept study, I want to share with you some background information regarding it. This study is quite theoretical. I will try to summarize in a very simple way. HIV, as you know, that HIV weakens the immune system, and if untreated, progress into AIDS. This is where the TAT protein plays a critical role, worsening the condition. In other words, we can say that which plays a significant role in the progression of HIV virus. As the TAT protein disrupts the immune system function, it is considered as the important target. In clear manner, TAT protein needs to be eliminated or neutralized. Protac molecules can be created to specifically target and break down the certain proteins within the cell. How it works, these molecules binds the target protein. In our case, it is TAT protein, and it deteriorates the TAT protein. Therefore, HIV virus do not progress. And now let's jump to the proof of concept study regarding this topic. This proof of concept study aims to construct the Protac complexes for TAT proteins. During the construction, a company used AI-based tools and also molecular dynamic simulation. For this study, a company needs to gain some competence on molecular dynamic simulation and molecular docking. As a part of our proof of concept study process, NCC Turkey assigned an academic expert, and for the simulation, we provide free HPC resources. At the end, the company constructed Protac structures for using Desmos simulation package. For the simulation, they use both CPU and GPU resources. All the process progressed successfully, and company gained some expertise in molecular dynamic simulation and also using the HPC environment efficiently. Now, then the study turned into a success story, and then we share our channels. That is the all from my side. Thanks for your listening.
Thank you very much, Merve, for this presentation. Thanks for sharing some examples of the proof of concept with one company in this specific field. I'm checking in the chat if there are any questions, comments, or raised hands. Thanks again a lot, Merve, for presenting for NCC Turkey. And let's continue with NCC Finland, with Dan Steele, to hear for your experience in Finland with this sector.
Thanks, Marie. So really good to be here. I hope you can see my
Yes.
slides.
Full screen, perfect.
Excellent. So yeah. So I represent NCC Finland and work at CSE IT Center of Science in Espoo, Finland. We're close to Helsinki, and I work as a partnerships manager that's responsible for our industry-facing HPC and ICT services at CSE. So really good to be here this afternoon, and our instructions were, I think, to sort of present a little bit about what we've done here in this area of interest, so healthcare, and the way that we reach out to researchers across Finland and to companies, and I kind of sort of highlight the advantages for the SMEs to interact with NCC Finland and what kind of support that we provide, and I kind of was thinking now sort of provide a couple of concrete examples and answer companies that we work with and I work with, and we'll sort of take it from there. And I think we're going to sort of find a number of interesting points here with other presenters. So real quick about CSE. So we're a supercomputing center, and NCC Finland is hosted at CSE. So we're not a sort of a split around in different locations, but we're pretty much concentrated here at CSE. And a special focus for us here in Finland is because we have this LUMI Euro HPC system here located in Finland, and the Finnish investment has been pretty sizable in the LUMI system. Then we sort of have a specific focus on that when it comes to the work that we do in Euro CC. So primarily when it comes to engaging with companies. And we have this possibility now. Actually, it used to be a little bit challenging to do projects together with industry in the past at CSE, but now because of our position as a government-owned entity, but now with LUMI we have the possibility of providing up to 20% of the capacity of LUMI, and also by extension the Finnish share of LUMI, which is pretty large, to industry and SMEs, and obviously the Commission side of LUMI, and also our partner side, and the same applies to these resources. And it's actually a pretty sizable chunk of computing power. So that's something that's really kept us busy. And the way that we, in order for you to perhaps understand a little bit the kind of environment that we work in, so we have kind of a focus really on finding industrial cases for industry, and here in Finland we primarily focus on Finnish companies. And in order to do that, then we sort of have kind of four paths that we can sort of travel when it comes to supporting industrial actors. One is perhaps the most how should I say, where we have the primary focus is really on these so-called private-public partnerships. It's really about having academia collaborate with industrial actors, so with these kind of collaboration projects and supporting these projects. And here we have a possibility to also towards Finnish industry provide capacity out of the Finnish share of the LUMI system. So and obviously also provide support participating in this EuroHPC JU calls, which is the second one from the right here on the picture, where we have obviously want to see also industrial actors taking part in these calls, and we provide support for them to do so, and help them when it comes to software related issues and so on. And it's an important path here also when it comes to EuroHPC resources, obviously, and this can then be sort of resources out of the Commission share of LUMI, and or from other systems around Europe, so like in Spain, Italy, and so on and so forth. So third path here, going from the right, is this Business Finland computing grant. It says here, so Business Finland is it's a government organization that provides support for SMEs and mid-caps. It's kind of the primary vehicle for the industry, from the industry of trade and economic and employment here in Finland. Sorry, economic development and trade and employment, I think it's called. So the ministry to support SMEs in Finland, support industrial activities, and we have a great collaboration with them. Partially, this collaboration is really driven by the fact that the ministry invested heavily in LUMI. So approximately half of the Finnish investment is actually coming from the ministry side. The other half then coming from the Ministry of Education, which kind of drives a little bit the way that we sort of do these projects, and this support can actually be as sizable as up to 100,000 euros for computing resources, and have some examples actually of projects that have been done, which I can show you later on. And the third one here is perhaps in a sense the most straightforward one, which is really that companies sort of pay for the resources and sort of are sort of have no obligations when it comes to reporting, and they essentially pay according to a price list. So these four ways to travel if you have an interesting project that you want to execute. We also provide, this has been kind of sort of turned out to be a pretty successful way of getting started. We have something called a try and buy. You can sort of, as a company, you can get a bit of resources. You get 10,000 CPU hours and 1,000 GPU hours in order to sort of try things out on LUMI and see how things are working out. And this has been kind of a nice pathway to sort of get going. A lot of times, and actually perhaps building a little bit on the two previous presentations, then we do quite a bit of, we sort of trying to be active when it comes to outreach. So we participate in a lot of various types of webinars and industry events, and both sort of arranged by industry and then by organizations that kind of sort of have different type of support roles when it comes to industrial activities in the country, and that's been a pretty successful strategy on our part, and in a lot of those cases, then the conversation gets started, and we then sort of try pretty quickly to sort of get concrete and sort of have the company sort of try out their software if there's a room to do so, and perhaps through a couple of examples here, I'll sort of try to walk you through what these can sort of look like. So to start off with here, and this is perhaps an example that kind of goes into the second pathway there with EuroHPC and kind of sort of support from the Commission side. So this year Limited, which is an SME. Well, they're actually been bought out by an American life science or biotech or sort of a life science company, I should say. I think it's called Paragon 24. So approximately a year ago. Then they sort of had this really interesting software for essentially doing calculations for finding the optimal treatment for bone fractures. So a lot of times these and specifically for jaw joints. So if you get would be so unfortunate to have your sort of your head injured in a collision or equivalent, then this your software very sort of efficiently could calculate the optimal, so based on a scan calculate the optimal position of the bones, and in order to find the best position for kind of minimizing the loads between the bone and the implant screws and the amount of metal used for the implant. And it so happened that we had sort of kind of a long-term relationship with the company. Actually, many of the founders were Nokia, ex-Nokia people. So they applied for SHAPE funding. Some of you may recall that there was such a program, and they were successful and essentially got a couple of months worth of support with us at CSC, and we have a FEM team at CSC, so doing finite element analyses that sort of essentially help the guys at this year to sort of parallelize their software and get it to run in an HPC environment. And in this year case, then the actual running models and the actual software was I believe that they essentially nowadays run it purely in Azure, but in those days for the development part, that they really used for this is already a couple of years ago. Then they would sort of used HPC and sort of were very happy with the results here. And it so happened that we had resources in-house at CSC, which we may have, but a lot of times we don't necessarily. And this was in this terms a really great case. But the software used here was not under license; it was completely custom. Our FEM team used software that's also in the open domain, so it was kind of easy to work in an HPC environment. But as I'll show you a little bit later on, this is not always the case. So next one up here is a bit of a bigger case, but kind of an example of these private-public partnerships I was talking about. So now collaboration in between a big, it's essentially the biggest pharmaceutical company in Finland, called Orion Pharma. I think they sort of have a turnover of approximately €1 billion, not 900 something million. And this was a collaboration in between them and the University of Eastern Finland, and also us at CSC in the area of molecular dynamics. And you can see here some of the advantages that the academic side sort of pointed out with regards to business having access to computing capacity and possibilities for business really to getting access to these large computing capacities. So Orion is a pretty big company, but HPC is not a core piece of infrastructure. So supercomputing very much appreciated in this case in terms of molecular running, being able to run big molecular dynamics jobs, and also having access to the competences at University of Eastern Finland and CSC. And here's a slide a little bit about the actual job here. So doing docking, then sort of training a machine learning engine on the basis of this docking data, and then sort of predict docking scores using the ML trained model, as I presume, and with some pretty sort of sizable results. And kind of interesting. So this issue with large companies typically like to use licensed software. So this is an issue in the pharmaceutical sector. We certainly see it in other areas at CSC. So when it comes to computational fluid dynamics, for instance, where companies really very much like to have the support provided by a commercial software vendor, and that's an issue in many of these kind of large company cases. And we typically as discussed here in this session, then we really sort of want the prefer the companies to bring their own license. A lot of times they have the license already running on some license server somewhere, and which kind of requires them to sort of get their IT department to open up a port towards the HPC resources that they want to use. And that's kind of an issue, and perhaps we can discuss a little bit more about that, because it's something that's really it can sort of be a bit of a sort of threshold to cross in many of these cases. So this is kind of an example of a sort of company university case where which actually has kind of resulted also in some purely sort of capacity driven projects at Orion. So they essentially procure sort of computing resources, HPC procuring resources through CSC for doing sort of completely. One issue also in the pharmaceutical sector, and sort of coming over here to the next example here, which is a company called Veil AI, who's developing essentially software for building data sets out of synthetic data and using this data for training neural nets, and doing this with really sort of anonymized data. Then a big issue, it's for at least in the cases I've seen so far, it has really been this issue with sensitive data, or then with essentially data that's really proprietary to the company that we work with, and how to sort of make that secure, and how to sort of convince the companies to also use these Euro HPC resources for companies that have large clusters in house, and then it seems that the threshold to move to Euro HPC can be quite significantly, partially because it's much easier to run in a local system where you sort of have all the security measures in place, but certainly kind of a very important part of the puzzle when it comes to the life sciences. But Veil AI example of this Business Finland path, I show you this organization that helps fund companies in Finland. So they actually they applied for this grant. They sort of got a sort of big allocation, I think close to 100,000 euros actually for doing their neural net training, which is certainly, and Veil AI is very much an SME. So a startup, which is a pretty fresh one at that couple of years old. So, but perhaps moving on in the interest of time, then to my last case here. Yes.
Great. This is your last use case. Then
I'll finish off with this one here. So, industrial enzyme design, also in the area of molecular dynamics simulations. AB Enzymes nowadays used to be called a company called Roal here in Finland. Now it is bought up by a Nordic company. And also kind of an example of really paper usage. So no reporting, no sort of no requirements when it comes to the how should I say, the application, no applications and so on. They sort of prefer to just purely use HPC. Long-term relationship, all of these cases, kind of take home from our cases is that long-term, many of these have kind of sort of been based on long-term relationships with towards CSC and HPC. Many of the actors here have previous experience from using CSC resources. And I think I'll pretty much finalize with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dan, for presenting it from CSC and your collaboration with Lumi. Thanks a lot, Dan. Thanks for presenting for NCC Finland. Let's continue with our last speaker today. So with Panayota for NCC Cyprus. So Panayota, you can share.
Hi, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yes, with your screen in edition mode. And full screen, perfect.
Just a moment. Okay. Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. Especially glad to make it here after an infection. So just made it. This is NCC Cyprus. I'd like to give thoughts about approaching the healthcare and life sciences through a specific example. When it comes to this sector in Cyprus, We've had several success stories, and these include an example of a clinic specializing in oncology, which is going to be the focus of the following section. Also the largest pharma industry called Medochemie, and other SMEs, as well as some of research organizations that are interested in, for example, bioinformatics, large-scale machine learning, high-performance data analytics, etc. So I'd like to focus today on a specific healthcare success story. This is particularly with the German Medical Institute on the analysis of MRI images using high-performance computing. And this is because I've seen in this story connecting the dots between providing a consultation through EuroCC and then building a longer term collaboration with this organization. Now, some background, the German Medical Institute is a leading medical center in Cyprus. They're really innovators in the field, focusing on patient-oriented healthcare. They have educational actions, and they're very, very active when it comes to R&D and innovating with medical technology, as well as digital and other technologies. So, for example, they were the first in Cyprus to acquire a PET and CT scanner, perform allogenic bone marrow transplant, as well as incorporate other services in the workflows. So with them, it was clear from the start that they have lots of sources of data sets, of inputs of data. They have in their clinic, they have over 180 beds, 2 ICU units, 10 surgery theaters. They perform surgeries on a day-to-day basis. They have 2 MRI and CT units, their own biobank, and their own R&I department. So they really handle large amounts of medical data sets of large complexity and volume that exceeds their computational resources. And this was the topic of the consultation that we provided through EuroCC on analyzing MRI images in Cyclone, which is our own supercomputing facility. So we facilitate the access to HPC resources and establishing the workflow in handling medical images, processing the MRI data, which is non-trivial in an HPC environment, then pre-processing of this data to be able to be handled by multi-core processing, and then setting up a bespoke environment in PyTorch to deploy deep learning models and analyze their medical imaging. And through this consultation, they've really had the opportunity to see the benefits of using HPC in the workflows. They could see the significant speed up in the processing of MRI data, then also achieving some consistency and reliability compared to some manual handling processes. You'll see this in a little bit as well. Optimizing how to transfer the data, which could be one of the main challenges with these big data sets. And in general, being able to utilize the allocated resources as efficiently as possible. So this was the consultation provided through EuroCC, and this was really the springboard for further collaboration beyond EuroCC. You can see this in the so-called PROTECT project. This is a nationally funded project by the Research and Innovation Foundation under the so-called co-develop call that tries to bring together industry with academia to co-develop solutions and drive impact. The topic of this project is the automated model-based surgical planning tool for prostate cancer brachytherapy. Now, for those of you that haven't heard of this high-dose brachytherapy, you can see here in the schematic that this is quite a complicated machinery, by the way, to be able to administer this brachytherapy dosing. And it is ultrasound guided as well. Basically, the surgeon has to guide these needles, multiple needles, into the prostate through the perineum, and then they move these radioactive sources within the needles to deliver this internal radiation and hit the prostate tumor. So this is the topic of the project. It's a collaboration between the German Medical Institute as the coordinators. We are also partners at the Cyprus Institute, and this was the result of going beyond the EuroCC consultation, as well as other partners, two SMEs and the University of Cyprus. And some more details, and I'll tell you why it's important to see these details. The manual process for the physician in administering brachytherapy requires processing these 3D ultrasound images to provide the contours for the prostate, the urethra, the rectum, in this MRI reference. This is a tedious process, and then it needs to be redone basically after the needles are placed and a second ultrasound is performed. And this takes, in total, takes around 15 to 30 minutes. And you can, of course, see that there are consistency issues when this is done manually. This is really a point where automation can save time and improve consistency. And this is exactly one of the project aims. One of the 3 aims is using AI and machine learning for automated segmentation of the regions of interest. And here the German Oncology Center, this medical institute, is providing all the data, the images and the contours from these 2 stages, the pre and the post needle insertion, all the domain expertise, of course, and our institution is providing all the expertise in AI and machine learning, and of course the computational HPC resources that develop the algorithm and evaluates and validates the workflow under realistic operational conditions. And of course, we're looking into exploring the commercialization potential. So this is, in a nutshell, the PROTECT project. And I wanted to show this today because it kind of completes the process. And I've seen some best practices for interacting with healthcare professionals and organizations. Some key takeaways here is that one-to-one meetings long enough that will allow you to immerse in their own field, their own workflows are very, very important. Alternatively, what we've been doing a lot in NCC Cyprus is hosting industry days. In larger NCCs, those could be equivalent to these community days, as our previous colleagues elaborated. And it's very important to listen carefully to what their challenges and their pain points are. For example, in this case, as in before was the automated annotation of the MRI images and the ultrasounds, and really being able to translate the impact of the technology to something tangible in their everyday processes. This is a very, very strong point when it comes to interacting with this sector in particular, and finally make sure to involve the right professionals for legal considerations, things like NDAs and data privacy protocols. So that's all from me. Happy to take questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Katsamba. Panayota, excuse me. Thank you, Panayota, for presenting for NCC Cyprus. Let me thank all the speakers today. So from NCC Belgium, NCC Turkey, NCC Finland, and NCC Cyprus. We will have another industry sector of the month in the next months. I will contact soon some NCCs for the new topic. Of course, feel free if any one of the participants today would like to present on a specific sector, it's welcome. You can let me know. And otherwise, thanks again to the speakers, thanks to the participants, thanks a lot for your participation, the questions, the comments. It was great to hear from the participants too. And I wish you all a very good rest of the day. See you, bye.
Yeah.